We are live. It is Wednesday. I am Rich Lieberman, and this is the Bay Area Media Pulse. And I say pulse because I have a pulse as of now. And I am the only person in this decrepit market that will give you an honest summation and not be controlled by the various woke outfits out there like the Chronicle, SF Gate, the Standard. Oh, the Standard. Isn't that cute? Isn't it so nice and organized? It's just so pretty. And the fact that we have a billionaire who I'm sure is not doing it for the reasons of self-interest. It's just so pretty. The Standard. Talk about overrated, for God's sakes. Makes the Examiner look like the London Times. In any event, that's not why I'm here today. And by the way, sorry I'm late. Had a few things to take care of and, go around. And, who gives a damn, right? These media people who tell you about things that they had to do and assignments and all. They're so fucking pompous, right? They come off with it, well, as if we care, as if we give a damn. But I'm contradicting myself right now because I actually said I had some issues to take care of today, but it was all business related. Here I am trying to nail down another story that the others, the wokes, will not touch, as you soon, hopefully one day, will find out. But today I want to talk about an easy target. And boy, are they easy. They're apparently doubling down again at KTVU. Fox 2. The station that used to be a hotbed of journalism and entertainment and a real entertaining, informative watch, which has now become painful. Like it or not. Nobody likes it. And today I want to talk about the doubling down on Mr. Sensitive Man, Mike Mibach, and that proverbial bowl of enthusiasm, Claudine Wong. Yeah, Claudine, there was a reason why they passed you over every day. And every anchor that left, you were passed over for a reason. Now, we're not going to comment on your gender, your ethnicity, your very, very, shall we say, politically correct attributes. Because if that was the case, they would have put your butt right up there on the desk right away. But, you lasted because they viewed you as somebody as loyal, paid your dues. Paid your dues. That's the same criterion that Mibach got. Folks, this is the most abominable, pathetic, ridiculous twosome. Another gruesome twosome. They at Channel 2, whoever the hell runs that operation, because it's basically run by staff who somehow are able to put together several, not just one, several newscasts. But they have these people who are not there based on talent, on drive, on dedication. They're there because they paid their dues, especially in the case of Mibach, who has absolutely no demo that likes this guy. And it's not just that. And by the way, I never met Mibach. He knows about me. Well, God, who doesn't? In a sort of a negative way. He knows about me. Mike, it's not personal. Although you look like kind of an asshole with your football and all that stuff, your football locker room guy. That's not your fault. And you're quite agile to be in front of a teleprompter. You just don't have prime time vigor or acumen. You look like a perennial 4 o'clock guy. And that's not a knock on four. Some very, very good people have been on 4 o'clock, not just at Channel 2 and or noon, you know? So you should have been put there if you really did want to anchor. And I guess they bought your story about being deserved. You're not deserved. You've been there based on longevity. That's hardly any kind of attribute. It just means you're a body. They need bodies. They can't put puppets up unless they call, Tom Vakar. But they're afraid if they get rid of him, they'll get sued. Why the hell they have Tom Vakar still is beyond anybody's sort of vigor mental case personified. They're afraid if they fire him or politely say, Tom, look, go smoke a cigar and have a cocktail at Bix. Your time is up. You've been here, 35 years? I think the last time he smiled was like Roberta Wong. Did I say Roberta Wong? Claudine Wong. I was thinking of somebody else. Boy, talk about a name from the past. Roberta Wong was at Cron in the early 80s. Claudine Wong, who also, like Vakar, last smiled during the formative years of the Carter administration. I'll get back to Mibach in a second. Claudine Wong, capable, yes. Adequate, of course. Not going to embarrass anybody. She has no personality. She has no, shall we say, God, gotta watch this. Not that you have to be jumping up and down and screaming and doing, cartwheels, but have passion, have a little local flavor. Claudine Wong has none of the above. She's there. And again, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I'm not patting myself on the back by saying this. Yet, folks, nobody's going to say this. They would be afraid because, oh my God, they're criticizing a woman who happens to be of Asian descent. I love certain Asian reporters and anchors. I've grown accustomed to appreciate Dion Lim, nice staying at KGO, or Vic Lee, or people like that. I was the only one in her heyday that loved Wendy Dakuda, even though she flubbed her lines every time she was on the air. That was evident. So it has nothing to do with that. Folks, I'm old school. I look at whether you got it or you don't got it. Claudine Wong, no personality, wooden, comes off, dare I say, robotic. I'm not trying to be harsh. She's capable. She doesn't drive the car. She doesn't move the needle. She barely touches it. And Mibach is a total abomination, has no news acumen. He's there because heard from the horse's mouth. He paid his dues. We owe it to him. And that's what they miss. Not that Somerville was such a great anchor, but he looked the part. He had a little passion. He had a little vigor. There was drive. Hell, talk about looked like an anchor. He fit all the part. Good looking guy, if a little, mishigas. But what person these days, in any profession, doesn't have, and I'm not going to go down the Somerville route here. That ship has sailed. I'm just making a point. They have lost a lot. Yeah, Hayner, I'll give her credit. She stuck around. She formed a very good duty, a good bio, a good dynamic duo with Somerville. Ibanez on sports, 43 years. A good mixture. Even dull and bumbling Bill Martin on the weather. It was that's why they called it the power four, the core four. So, but you have to adapt. You have to have people behind the camera who understand that that's not going to be an eternity. And that was the case 2 or 3 years ago when Somerville first started getting into trouble and they couldn't develop nor plan for something like they have today, which is a total abomination. I haven't even mentioned Roberta Gonzalez, who was last popular when? About 30 years ago? The dawning of the new millennium and all that. Not a knock on Roberta Gonzalez. She's still doing her Roberta-isms, and it's awful. And it's, for God's sakes, talk about contrived. Nobody buys it anymore, Roberta. Okay, it's wonderful. You're 61. That's not old. You're a beautiful, beautiful young lady. You just have that kind of animated crap that nobody buys anymore. And it was reported here years ago, well, not that long ago, that KTVU and Fox execs, these consultants that they give a lot of money to, had already said, these are the two we want to lead the starship, to sit on the desk at 10 o'clock at least and drive a new beginning 10 o'clock news. And that was Heather Holmes and Alex Savage, a dynamite duo. They have personality. They're not perfect. Holmes, hard worker. She's got a good look. She's got a smart look. She works her ass off, I'm told. And I know that for a fact from the horse's mouth. Most importantly, they're stars in a diminished world where most people don't even watch news anymore. But the few people that do, and they count still, women and men, but mostly older women and men. The rest are looking at their phones. But Channel 2 still gets viewers. It's hard. My point is with Savage, with Holmes, they at least have that kind of it factor, which I've spoken about in the past. They drive numbers. Sports, I don't know. I don't think anybody cares anymore, but they have enough people, not Joe Fonzi, who I think turned 98 today, who he didn't. I'm just making a little joke. And on the weather, get Mark Tamayo there. Or put somebody like, oh, I don't know, Fashionista, Rosemary Orozco. Guess what? They keep passing her over too. So I guess like myself, they have no faith in her. But she does have an it factor. She just doesn't know it. They haven't made the decision on that, but they'll screw it up because they're good at that. Back to the main point. I sound like Andy Rooney now. Do you ever wonder, this is my Andy Rooney, do you ever wonder why TV consultants get paid a lot of money, yet they don't do much work? I do. I got paid a lot of money, but at least I had this kind of crazy face, and I talked like this, and they gave me $10 million a year, and I was on 60 Minutes, and you ever wonder? Okay, that's my Andy Rooney. So back to the original point. They're doubling down on Mibach and Claudine Wong. It'll never work. They don't have chemistry. And when they try, here's the worst thing. When they try to become chummy, it's all fake. People know it. Chemistry is not something you have to be taught. You either have it or you don't have it. Or yeah, maybe you can develop it in time, but it doesn't happen overnight. And even if it did, these two don't have any of it. They're wooden. They're artificial. They have no spark. God knows. God forbid we have some kind of a huge story, a breaking news. See them ad-libbing. That would be worth the price of admission, although it wouldn't be for what you think. People would be laughing and gasping. They can't ad lib. Mibach is just not that person. Never met him, have nothing against him. Claudine Wong, I've always said sarcastically, yes, she hardly smiles. She never smiles. And even if she does, breaking news, it comes off as disingenuous. And it's not literally just to smile, it's to show that you're awake, that you have some element of passion. That's why you're doing this, for God's sake. You're not on C-SPAN. You're not doing the 10 o'clock news for a station in Dubuque. You still have a few people watching you in the number 6 market. So again, they just stick with her because they kind of have to. And I say this as somebody, years and years ago, I made it, even with the internet age, computers, I made it when I was in town to watch the 10 o'clock news. It was that good. Don't give me the baloney, oh, times have changed. I hate that. I hate that. It is such a stupid, lame excuse personified. You have good people out there. People, even at your own shop, like, she's a little soft, she's a little underwhelming, but you build Christina Rendon, you know, a little, you pair her with a guy like Savage, although I'm not talking, that wouldn't work, but it has potential, certainly more inviting than what we have now. Savage and Heather Holmes, star power, stars. I have grown, based on what I've heard, to respect, and God knows she needs my respect. Folks, to be serious for a moment. I'm making a point. They have capable people there. They've become foxified. They have these stupid graphics now. There is no point. Hell, embarrassments nightly. Just the other night, and I didn't talk about this, I didn't see it, I heard about it. Amber Lee, their veteran reporter, I guess she froze on the air a good minute, maybe like 20 seconds, not a minute. It was scary enough to where some people thought she was having some kind of a Mitch McConnell, if you know what I mean. But that was when Mitch froze up. She's not that old. So maybe it was just, who knows? The camera went dark. Anyway, they're an abomination every night. They don't have the cohesiveness that they used to have. Again, not just personnel, the people that run it, an absentee GM who nobody cares about. She has no power, I'm told. HR people out of place. A news director that continues to work, yet 98% of the staff has no confidence in her. Miss Aponte, if there was another city, Houston, we have a problem. San Francisco, Oakland, we have a problem. They don't respect you. So Channel 2 is getting by based on their earlier in life reputation. They continue to go with people that don't have it because they just don't have it. The eye test, do anything. It's not there. Or to borrow a phrase from Gertrude Stein, who once said, it was mischaracterized, but it made sense to a little bit. She said about Oakland, there's no there there. Well, there is a there in Oakland. Restaurants and culture and, just make it to your car and the crime situation and all that. I don't want to get down that road. But my point is there's no there at the 10 o'clock news. Hell, at 5 o'clock, at 6 o'clock. When you have two people clearly not ready for prime time. My Howard Cosell would say it best like this. Claudia, Claudia, you are not an abomination. You'd have to be paired with Michael Mibach, a total double abomination. And it pains me to say that, but my friend Chet Forty and Rune Olich, they would be here, they'd say the same thing. That's my Howard. So I'm just going to tell you that there's going to be changes, folks. Because you know what? You know what supersedes doubling down? Numbers, ratings. And those aren't good. And yes, they're still strong as KTVU. They are. In the morning, they kick ass. They basically have no competition, but they still make globs of money in the morning. They used to make globs on top of globs of money at 10 o'clock. Their hallmark newscasts no longer. Why? Because they have less than mediocre personnel running the show. And I'm sorry, that ain't going to work. I'm Rich Lieberman, and you're not. Please tell your friends, your doctors, your lawyers, your enemies, the plumber, your mistress, your boyfriend, whomever, that you watch me and that I have a wonderful sort of a quasi Steve McQueen kind of a look combined with Uncle Fester. And I do impressions like James Carville, who, if he was around Channel 2, would say, you know what? I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent or Tea Party or that party. You guys suck right now. You got to get it on. You got to get going. Otherwise, you're going to be an afterthought. Watch me here on YouTube. Tell your friends. Please subscribe. And oh, yes, if I succeed, only you can make that happen or not. So please, if you can, donate to good journalism. Last seen at Columbia University, where I graduated. No, I didn't. But please, if you like what you see and you can make a donation, Pledge Break, help me maintain this wonderful presence here locally on YouTube. Take care. I'll see you soon.